Girl, we're down here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I'm going to tell you how I just bought 2 new lip dews. I bought this one. This is by Gisou, like Bisou, but Gisou. This is honey infused lip oil in sugar plum. I think this is sugar plum. It's really cute. I got it. And then I got another one that's like taro, but it's a lip mask. But it's taro, you know, like the eggplant, the taro, it's like an eggplant or a root vegetable. But it's in the lip dew. And then I got this turmeric and honey, also lip balm. But this is just for like this is beeswax, almond oil, coconut oil, cocoa butter, turmeric and honey. And you know, just put it on your lips, especially if you're a diva who smokes. You got to keep your lips. You got to keep. Overall, the episode was just okay. Nothing real big or anything. I watched it last night. It was like, it says 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m. on my note here. So I watched it early this morning. So overall, the episode was just okay. It was nothing, no big deal. They're kind of winding down the episode. Drew was actually on Watch What Happens Live last night. She actually did. Drew is really doing really good. I can't even front. I have to give Drew her props for this season. She is really the MVP of this season. She really did her thing. Angela did her thing. Shamea has been a disappointment. I didn't really have high expectations of Shamea, but it's giving more of the same. Like, I don't know what I expected from Shamea. I don't really know what I expected. Kelly is good. I think Kelly is great. I think Kelly should come back. We didn't get so much into her story. They didn't give us too much, but hopefully, you know, if we get her another season, we get to know her. Phaedra doesn't need to come back. Portia doesn't need to come back. I would really sit down, if I were a producer of RHOA, would sit down with Portia and have a conversation, but they favor her. So it's like she's able to not really give what she should give, right? While we can call all of them liars at this point, including Drew, Phaedra, Portia, all of them. We can call Brisket, she's a fraud and a liar and a scammer and a schemer. And so, you know, we could say Drew is lying, but when she's giving her interviews, her interview with the Breakfast Club was very forthright, very transparent. Her interview with Andy last night, the clip that I saw of her talking about Ralph and where's the podcast. Andy was messy, like talking about where's Ralph's book. She was like, I don't know, have you seen it? Because I haven't seen it, period. So I love that she is really being shady in her interviews. I really love that. So they have arrived in Grenada. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you stopped by. They have arrived in Grenada, and they are, you know, had their first night, their first dinner. So this is the next morning. They are on day 2. They are on day 2. So they talked about Drew and Portia are moving forward. They showed a clip from the previous night of Portia and Drew, you know, laughing with each other, kind of laughing a little bit as they're entering one of the sprinters. Brisket threw up. She is acting like she's too classy for shots and that she only drinks champagne. Girl, when did that start? Because we don't believe nothing about whatever you're trying to portray yourself to be on this show. We don't believe it. You're not a classy woman. Get the F out of here. Girl, I don't know what you just, let me shut up. We got a little class at the end, I guess. Let me get through this review. It's not going to be long, I promise you. Angela keeps calling Chuck, and he's not answering the phone. They're making it seem like he's not answering. She said when she did call him the night before, he was too busy to talk because he was cooking with her daughter. And then she says they're falling in love every single day. And then later she says she wants to beat his ass. So, I don't know. I guess that's what it is. They're having an island-style breakfast Phaedra is talking about how big Kelly's breasts are. There's one thing that that Phaedra continuously does, and she does this everywhere she goes. When she was on marriage boot camp, everywhere she goes, she makes these very uncomfortable observations out loud about your body. She does it all of the time. They really need to put a montage together of how often Phaedra makes comments about someone's body, whether it's their breasts, whether it's their size, whether it's always, and it comes off as somebody who wants to eat people. Like, it comes off like the witch from Hansel and Gretel who wants to see if you're getting fatter. Can't really see, but she wants to put you in a cage. Like she said, she wanted to take the little people downstairs in the basement. What is that? What does that mean? You're weird. You're like the old lady in Hansel and Gretel who puts the people in the cage and tries to feed them to see if they're fattening up so she can eat you later. She's always making some weird, and it's very odd, the observations that she makes, and then like she almost gets excited about it. It's really weird. Brenda says that shots are for college girls. We're wives, at least some of us are. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you have the title of wife, whether it's whatever kind of lavender, pink, purple, fuchsia, whatever color marriage you have, girl. Yeah, at least you're a wife. Okay. She says shots are for college girls. Phaedra says she's excited to be in a room with Brenda because she walks around naked. I think if Phaedra stepped all the way into her shadow, she would be a procurer for men, for like a madam. She would be like a Janice or a KK or somebody who or a Ghislaine. Like if Phaedra were to just reside in her shadow, she could be a Ghislaine Maxwell. I could see her looking at women like it was almost like she looks at women like prey. It's weird. Am I the only one that sees that? Maybe, because I don't really fucking see it for Phaedra. But the way that she's always constantly making these odd observations of the women's bodies, like she said about Brisket, her nipple was inverted and it just popped out. It's just like, what? It's like, and then it's odd because you don't even know Phaedra, and how close were you enough for her to see? Like, I don't mind, like, you know, if it's all women or whatever, we all got the same thing, just different shape, size, colors, textures, whatever. I'm not really a person that will like try to hide, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, you're so close to my titties that you can see if my nipple is inverted. That's weird to me. I don't know. She says she loves it that she walks around naked. I don't mind. You can walk around me naked. But I'm not inspecting you, where I feel like Phaedra is like an inspector. Shamea walks in with the outfit. They're like, girl, for you not to have your luggage, you still coming in with these outfits. So she says she did have some outfits in her carry-on, and later she does borrow a dress from her BFF. Mm-hmm. So they're splitting into two groups, and when they're splitting into two groups, Kelly is boisterous. We know she's boisterous. Her voice is loud, and Phaedra, who is also short, calls Kelly a garden gnome and Tinkerbell, and she's so tiny she has to be loud. And this is Phaedra giving her perspective on the reason why Kelly is loud. So Kelly in her confessional was like, okay, ladies, we are going to split up in two groups. One of the groups are going to be, and then she was like, girl, we ain't got no time for that. Don't nobody have time for that. And it was weird for her to make that assessment. And I love that Kelly was like, no, that's not it. Great that you can make the assessment that it's because I'm small, that I'm loud, but no, that's not it, girl. I'm just loud. Cynthia doesn't like the over talking. I don't either. When they talked about the previous night where they were holding like this clear quartz, I think it was, or rose quartz, And they said that they wanted to pass it around so everybody could get a chance to talk. And when they passed it to Brielle, she started talking about something else. Because when I tell you, Phaedra in that damn Sprinter van, she told that girl just right. She told her just right. And in her confessional, where she said, you're like a self-fulfilling prophecy, where you have in your head, and we've been saying this, you have in your head that people are obsessed, they're jealous. Like, you don't want any woman to connect to you on a positive note. It always has to be, she's jealous, she's throwing shade, she's being shady. It's always this kind of conflict that you need to have with other women. Why? Because she is a pick-me, and she has to be the center. And you know, never mind the little pieces of narcissism that each of us have, and some on the spectrum more than the others, right? On the grander side of the spectrum of narcissism or narcissistic traits. Women like Brisket are like, oh, everybody's jealous of me. You're obsessed with me because you're talking about me. You're throwing shade. It's not I'm throwing shade. Now, she did have a good assessment of the way that Brisket had a good assessment of the way that Shamea is moving around. And she let her have it in her confessionals. I mean, not in her confessionals, at that table. So we'll get to that. Shamea says, when you had the crystal, you was talking about something totally different. Shamea said, I wanted to stay on black. Drew said, oh, I was with you until you tried to bring it back to me. Girl, what? We're not talking about me. What do we need to talk about me for? Oh, you're still doing your lapdog shit for Portia by wanting, Portia's not even in this room, and you're still trying to bring up black. I wanted to learn more about black, and you started talking about something else. And Brisket said, well, if I have the crystal, I could talk about whatever I want to talk about. Well, that wasn't what we were talking about. You completely changed the direction of where we were going to talk about yourself. And that's when she got into it with Shamea at the table. Okay, so here we go. She says, I can ask whatever I want to ask. Shamea says, I'm not trying to read Brisket, but what's up with the donation? She only donated like 3 paper towels. This is on their way to their events. They get in the Sprinter. Shamea said, I don't know why she's acting like I want to read her. And that's what I don't like about passive aggressive people. See, I'm a person who, I'm direct. I'm not passive aggressive. I'm direct. Okay. I can practice passive aggressiveness if I want to be, but typically that's not the direction that I take. Passive aggressive people, when you call them out on their passive aggressiveness, when you confront them, is what they're trying to avoid. They'll act like they didn't do what they did. That's why it's passive. Like, I didn't do that. I wasn't doing that. When in fact you were. You were being passive at that table. You're being passive with your shade. You're not directly shading her. You're not directly saying something to her. So when she actually confronts you and calls you out for being passive aggressive, you can deny it and say, that's not what I was doing. I have a Rolls Royce. Portia has a Rolls Royce. But do they have a Rolls Royce and a Birkin? See, instead of mentioning, hey, you know what? I was kind of caught off guard because I feel like we're women of a certain caliber. And to Phaedra's point, if you could spend $200 on your nails, you damn sure can give more than $250 as a donation. The starting donation minimum to be in this crew is $1,000. And I wasn't mad at Phaedra for that at all. Like, I totally agree with her. Bitch, you spend $250 to get your goddamn nails done. So $250, and you're supposed to be these classy women. We're wives, we're classy, and all you can give is $250 and 3 rolls of toilet paper and some hand booty wipes. No. Phaedra says she should have donated no less than $1,000. Phaedra calls Drew Drusilla. Cynthia says they feel like that Portia and Drew can move forward. They're going to go to the barbecue, and they're on their way to the cooking thing. So I don't know why I put barbecue here, but they're on the way to the cooking thing. And Portia says that Drew should apologize to Shamea for calling her a lapdog. She's trying to say that you're beneath me. Like, basically, like, girl, you better to get her together. She's trying to say you're beneath me. You know you're not beneath me, even though I treat you like you are. But you know you're not. So you better stick up for yourself, because these girls are clocking you. And they keep calling you a lapdog. And you act like you didn't call yourself that. I saw Shamea down to the radio station, and she was like, that Drew wants to call her that. Drew, you called yourself that. You took pride in it. And the fact that it's still on your page, not archived, not correct, not the misspelling in it corrected, none of it is corrected, none of it has disappeared, it's still out there. So I guess. And she was like, every time I mention Drew, everybody's like, who? I would rather be a lapdog than forgettable. No, you should want people to forget that you're a lapdog for the village whore. You should want people to forget that. I would want people to forget that. I wouldn't want people to think that I'm some motherfucker's minion, especially the dumbest bitch in the crew. You're the minion for the dumbest broad in the crew. Just like the people who go out for Teresa Giudice. I don't get it. You're the dummy's flunky. No. That's not the position you want, girl, at all. I would rather people forget that I was a lapdog than not remember me at all. I don't want to be associated with being a bitch's lapdog. Hell no. Especially no simple puddle bitch like Portia, girl. No, thank you. I'm telling you, she's a flop. It's giving flop. Brisket says she's getting to know Phaedra, but they have mutual friends, and so they're building on that bond. And it's almost like she just says whatever. Like, how did you gather that? I don't know what they talked about. We actually don't know what they talked about in that room. So Phaedra later said she doesn't even know why she mentioned Apollo, because nobody know, like the same way Shamea said, when people mention Drew, they're like, who? People don't know you unless you're connected to that man, because they are attracted to your ex-husband. You know, the reason why you had that campaign against Kenya on a lie that your husband told, because she said he was fine, but you friends with Portia. That's the crazy part. Because what if Portia had said that Apollo was fine? What if Apollo had grabbed Portia and dunked her in the pool? What if Portia was the one who, to ask Phaedra, would you ever do a threesome? Would you ever invite other people into the relationship? Would y'all have held a campaign against her, calling her the village slut for how many years? Kenya Moore whore for how many years? And now this is your best friend, the woman who walks into other women's homes and leaves with their husbands? I don't get it. I'm so confused by that. I really am. I really am. Phaedra says she can't get a read on Angela, but Charles is too much fun. He's the life of the party. And then the producer asked Phaedra, does he act like he's married? Now, this is on the way to their events. They're still in the Sprinter vans, right? He was the life of the party. The producer asked Phaedra, did Charles act like he was married? And she said, no, I never knew him to be married. And this is what I said, and this goes along with how I'm looking at the discourse about Puffy and his relationships to these women. There are groups of women who seem to take delight in your husband or your partner not liking you. Listen to me. There are groups of women who seem to take a delight in a woman's partner not liking them. It seems like people get giddy at the idea that Charles doesn't like Angela. He seems not to like her. And it seems that people are getting joy or reveling in that. Reveling in this man not really liking his partner or showing signs or acting in a way that seems that he doesn't like her. It's weird how the discourse around that seems to be of joy that he doesn't like her, and that they can get to say like, he doesn't act like he's married. And then later when she says that he doesn't wear his wedding ring, and they're like, oh, he needs to wear his ring. Why? Like I said on Twitter, it's men fucking the next bitch with their wedding rings on. What does the ring mean, girl? What does the ring mean? That you're in a committed relationship, and yet and still these men cheat on you and you stay committed to them after they cheat on you? A lot of women stay committed to men after they cheat on them. So if the ring is a sign of commitment and it's a big deal and these niggas cheat on you and they break the commitment, why do you stay? Because the ring doesn't really mean a motherfucking thing. Like I said, these niggas unzipping their pants, taking their dicks out, hopefully putting a condom on before they stick their dicks in the next broad, all while wearing their wedding rings. That means nothing. And the fact that people are taking delight in this idea that Charles doesn't like Angela is really odd to me. Like, we know these niggas ain't shit. We know they are. We know that on a large scale, en masse, the majority of men do not like women. They don't. And that's just how they're socialized. And you're not going to tell me it's not all. It's not all. It's never all, but it's always some. And in most cases, it's most. And they show us every single day. But I think it's weird for people, for women especially, to take pleasure in seeing a man not like his partner. It's weird. Phaedra doesn't like monkeys because it's racist. So there has been some charges against Phaedra with, saying that Kenya is dark. Her complexion is the way it is because she's full of shit. Right? Remember when she said that? And then also saying that minimizing Drew's accomplishments and acting like she's only been in, quote, black movies, as if there's something wrong with that. Now we have Phaedra associating monkeys with racism. Why? We already know the history of why. But the idea, like, I don't like monkeys because they're racist. And it's like, again, you talk about all these jobs that you have. You talk about, being a lawyer. You talk about all these things. But you really say the most ignorant shit out of your mouth, Phaedra Parks. You really do, attorney at law. You really do, mortician. What else do you do? Don't you have like a gallery with clothes in it and stuff, like similar to what Marlo does? Doesn't she have something like that? You still be saying some ignorant stuff. It's crazy. Kelly, they go cooking, right? And they are drinking some rum from a black-owned distillery. She says as a chef, she wants to learn new recipes. And they were, flirting with the cooks. And they were like, we're single, Drew and Kelly step up to the plate, And let me see. I feel like my nose is dirty. Hold on. Yeah. So they're flirting with the cooks and everything like that. And Angela, they're like, Angela, you're married. She said, I ain't blind. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, it's weird because, again, when people enter into marriages, the way they feel like they have to act for other people watching, and like, you can't look at another man, you can't make a comment about another man, you can't flirt with another man, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's just like, girl, this sounds like this is too much. I ain't blind, girl. If the nigga's fine, the nigga's fine. Girl, I don't care if I am married. Girl, y'all over here telling me, ooh, you married, but then actually acting like my husband doesn't like me. So how come I can't act like somebody is cute and y'all not say anything? Girl, you are literally saying my husband doesn't like me, but still want me to act like I'm married and I can't look at another man and say that he's handsome. Girl, get out of here. So they go to a waterfall. They look like they're having a good time. It's Cynthia, Phaedra, Shamea, and Portia. Shamea says she doesn't feel comfortable because she has a one piece that is in her luggage. All the rest of her ugly clothes are still lost. Yeah, she hasn't got her ugly clothes in Grenada yet. I don't think she ever gets them. I don't know. But they're still there. They're going to be there for like almost the rest of the season. So they sit down to eat, and British can't eat because they made the food with beef and pork. And she says she hasn't eaten beef or pork in almost 30 years, so she's not going to eat it. She says the trip is refreshing. She feels like her and Angela are mending their issues. Phaedra says that she doesn't understand why Brisket brought up Apollo. She didn't get that. That was weird. I don't care nothing about him. Girl, yes, you do. And it was weird. Why would you bring him up? Like, I don't know. The way that, I don't know. Let me keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. So Kelly brings up Black to Drew again, and Drew says he's a friend, but I do want to, you know, be in relationship, but not right now. I'm going through a divorce. I'm not interested in that right now. That's not something that is a focus of hers right now. Shamea is happy that her and Portia are, you know, in a good place. They were in the car making up songs and stuff like that, and she was in the confessional saying, I have my BFF back. I have my best friend back. Nanny, nanny, boo-boo, I guess. I don't know. So they're getting ready for dinner, and Shamea is borrowing Portia's clothes. Angela tries to call Charles again, and he picks up the phone, and she's asking him if he misses her. And she was like, you don't miss me? And she was like, that he's not paying attention. She says, I want to talk, but I want to get up and beat his ass. And as they're talking, he's not connecting with her. He's acting like whatever. I honestly think there are a lot of men who think that that's cute. Like to act, to like, I don't know, act like they're not interested. Act like they're aloof. Like they don't really care. Like there's no emotional connection to their partner. Some men think that that's cute. And some women act like, oh, he's just, you know, a little grouchy, grumpy old moody ass man. Nobody likes to deal with no moody, ornery ass nigga. I'm sorry. I don't think it's attractive at all. I don't. And hopefully Charles is seeing himself and how it comes across, because you can't look at that and not see and not think or feel that he doesn't like her. But again, men are rewarded for acting aloof and unemotional and unattached. So that's just that. That's what you're gonna get, and you have to correct it. And she was in the conversation with him. She was like, "You don't miss me," and he was like, "I mean," and then she equates him having an attitude with her that it's because it's their anniversary and she's not with him, and typically on their anniversary she gives him some ass. And so maybe he has an attitude because he's not getting no ass on his anniversary. That's what she equates. And she was like, can you leave me with something? Leave me with something. And he was like, don't get into it with anybody else. Okay, nigga. Girl. Anyway, so they are in the other room getting ready. You know, everybody's arriving so that they can go out to dinner. And Shamea is pouring shots. Now, she says, I don't want to pressure anybody. Now, this is passive aggressive, right? I don't want to pressure anybody. I don't want to pressure anybody that I'm saying that I'm pressuring them to have drinks. They can just politely decline. You know, everybody, and it's like, girl, you are talking about her. She is the one who has told everybody, I don't want to do shots. I'm not really a shot girl. I'd rather drink champagne for whatever reason. And stop pressuring me to drink. Stop asking me. So Shamea says you can decline. Every time somebody asks you if you want to take a shot, you can always decline. She's like, no, I don't want to decline. I already told you no, basically. So Shamea is talking in a roundabout way, saying, I want to pour shots, but, you know, I don't want nobody saying that I'm pressuring them. I don't want everybody saying that I'm trying to get them to drink when they're not. It's like, girl, okay. She says, we're not hood rats. We're classy women. That's debatable, girl. And then when they were leaving, I said, Cynthia stepped on Portia's hooves. Portia said, I heard the prime minister is single. I can't be going over there to him with no broken toes. Girl, you got one nigga in ICE. You got your eye on the prime minister, and you still trying to control what Dennis does with his dick. Isn't that crazy? Portia is a trip. And you think she's joking. She's not joking. I'll tell you something. If that man looked at Portia any kind of way, best believe she's trying to figure out how to hop on that dick. Portia literally moves like a bitch in survival mode. You're always looking for an escape. And your escape, your light at the tunnel is a man with money. So much so that you had your daughter sitting on a fucking scammer's lap. A motherfucker who's been scamming even before your daughter was thought of. And just when you were riding a fucking tricycle. And you had your daughter sitting on that stranger's lap. Just so that you can retire. That's not smart. That is not smart. That's not smart. So when they're getting ready for dinner, everybody comes in with their looks in and they're like, oh, you guys are giving Met Gala-ish. And Cynthia said, honey, it's BET at the very least. It ain't the Met Gala, girl. Y'all not giving the Met Gala. Y'all giving BET awards, Source awards. That's what y'all are giving. So they sit down and everybody is seated. Shamea starts to passively talk about donations. And then the other women are chiming in, and Brisket clocked the shade. And she was like, oh, that's a little shady. It sounds like you talking about me, right? Because I'm the only one that came in a Rolls with the Birkin and gave $250. I know you're talking about me. So instead of talking around me like I'm not here and like you're talking in a general, when you're actually directing it towards me, because everybody starts to chime in and saying what they donated and how much they donated. And when I gave this and this and that, you were the only one who lied and said that there was a truck coming and there was no other truck. So then you gave a monetary donation and it was still only $250. Again, I'm with Phaedra. You spend $250 on nails. As a housewife, I believe that if you can't donate a minimum of $1,000, you should not. You should not. That should literally be a qualifier on the application. If we were to donate to charity, can you at a minimum donate $1,000? If you cannot, you can't be a housewife. That sounds crazy as hell, but I feel like that should be a requirement. $250? I can give $250 to a charity. Hell, I can give $1,000 to a charity, okay? But like these women, like honestly, it should be $5,000. Are y'all rich and classy bitches or what? Because classy means if some form of class comes with some dinero, right? The higher the class, the higher the money, what's coming in. So $250 is nothing, girl, nothing at all. So you're talking about me. Passively talking shit, Rolls Royce and Birkins. That felt shady. That's what she said. She was right. She clocked it. I drive. Then Shamea, of course, she denies it. And that's gaslighting. So people pleasers, you might think, oh, they're sweet and they get used and they don't know, they don't have any boundaries and they don't say no. But they're manipulative too. They can be manipulative, right? So instead of directly confronting the girl about her weak ass donation, you want to talk about if we're pulling up in Rolls Royces and have Birkins, we should be able to give a sizable donation. You don't want to direct that towards her. Why? You want to avoid the conversation because confronting means a person is not going to have they're going to be mad at you. They're going to be annoyed with you. So the people pleaser is now like, oh, I'm not pleasing this person. But they're passive aggressive. And then when I call you out on your passive aggressiveness, you say, oh, well, I have a Rolls Royce. She drives a Rolls Royce. But you specifically said Rolls Royce and Birkin. That's me. You're talking about me. I'm the only one at the table who gave a weak ass donation, bitch. I know I'm the only one at the table that gave a weak ass donation. So I know you're talking about me. So instead of talking over me and around me and in general terms, speak directly to me, bitch. That's how I feel. Because I don't do passive aggressive. I confront people who are passive aggressive. You want to talk to me? You have something to say to me? Because I'm not going to let you get the little passive aggressiveness off. You're going to have to confront it. And that's just what it is. If it was shade, you would know it. Girl, you're weak as fuck. Because the fact is, you can't even stand in it and be like, yeah, I was talking about you. I was trying to not to embarrass you. So I was going to talk around it. But since you want to call it out, yes, I was talking about you. No, instead of that, again, she does another way. If I wanted to shade you, you would know it. Would we? Or would you be passive about it like you are about everything else? Because you was passive about the shots. I don't want anybody, meaning I don't want Brittany to think I'm pressuring her. Just call me. Say it directly to me. So you've been shading me, being passive aggressive with me. And now when I call you out, you say, if I was going to shade you, you would know it. Would I? I don't think we would. Because you scary, bitch. You won't even tell her how you feel about her. So I know you scared of me. That's your friend. You don't even know me and you still scared. You a lame. A loser. You the suspect. So Kelly says, I don't think that Brit was aware of how much to give. Ma'am, you don't need to be told how much to give. If you're really a girl, a charitable diva, nobody has to tell you what the requirements to give. You give what you can, and you were only able to give $250. You are in the wrong group of women, ma'am. I'm sorry. You are. You're in the wrong group of women. Be that girl in all aspects of your life. I agree with that. If you're that girl, if you're that bitch, don't give $250 for a donation, girl. That's weak as fuck. It is. Donate whatever you feel. Girl, calm down. You can give what you want. She was like, but you're being very aggressive. And she said, you're being passive aggressive. Apparently, Shamika pulled Brisket aside and talked to her about the donation. And she says, but you could have brought that to my face. Anyone else want to say anything directly to me? Portia chimes in and says, well, you talked about you don't feel supported, but it doesn't seem like you're open to it. It doesn't seem like you want to put forth that effort. She says, are you asking me or are you just saying that? Portia says, well, I mean, let's not do that. She was like, well, Portia specifically, you couldn't even acknowledge me in the group chat. So apparently they had a group chat and Portia asked everybody to add their name to their number so she can put them in their phone. She said some of them ignored her. So when Brisket says something directly to her, Portia didn't have her number saved. So she was like, who is this? Because nobody answered me when I told y'all to put your numbers to your, a name to your number so that I can put you in my phone. I didn't put you in my phone because you didn't answer me. So I don't know who this is. So she was like, you didn't acknowledge me. Portia said, I didn't have you in my phone, girl. I didn't know who you were. So that's why I said, who are you? Who is this? She says, are you going to let me finish, baby? Portia said, don't baby me. Look, we're not doing that. She was like, you can just talk regular. So again, we have, and this is what's crazy is, that was Portia a few years ago. You couldn't say nothing to her. You still can't say nothing to Portia. Portia starts fidgeting, moving in her chair. She wants to get up and leave. Girl. So it's the same vibe. So the fact that when Portia tried to calm Brisket down and she was like, no, bitch, I'm not calming down. You don't let me say what I'm going to say. You're not even letting me finish what I'm trying to talk about. And she was like, Brit. She was like, Portia. Brit, Portia. Oh, you got the right one. Y'all got the right confrontational bitch. Y'all got the right one. She don't give a damn. She's not classy as just because she's sipping champagne doesn't mean that hoe is classy. As we can see. Okay? She was like, you cut me off. She was like, you don't even know what the point of reference is. And as they are arguing, the prime minister shows up. They thought he was cute. He's not my cup of tea. They asked him if he had any children. They're trying to get, it's like, instead of asking him about the country, instead of asking him about him, instead of asking him what made you decide to become the prime minister, what is your history, you want to find out if he's eligible to have a relationship with. I hate that. I do. It's like you don't see a man outside of a romantic partner. And it's true. There's so many women like that. They see a man, and even if he's a good man, he has a job, he has his degree, he's balanced, he's attuned, he's not homophobic, he's not transphobic, he's not any of the, he's not misogynistic, he's not sexist. Y'all think that that is a man to partner with. Not that he can exist as just a good man. In your mind, you are now deciding, is he a good partner? He has all these great qualities. Now, can I partner with him? Leave those men alone. Leave them alone. Please leave their asses alone. Leave them alone. So, Phaedra starts talking about Drew and Kelly, and how they would be a first lady with this, like their relationship, if they were in relationship with this prime minister, could Drew be a first lady? Could Kelly be a first lady? And Portia can fit in with any foreign man. That's what she said. Married men who don't wear rings. And she was like, Angela said, Charles doesn't wear a ring. And everybody was like, what? He doesn't wear a ring? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, that's like, girl, that don't mean nothing. It really doesn't. It is really the women who need deprogramming. The relationship that y'all have with romantic relationships and partnerships and marriage, it doesn't match. It's literally like you're living in an idealized version of reality. Like, it's literally like your eyes are wound up. It's literally like that. Phaedra said most men are crazy, but most women love penises. Mm-hmm. Shut up. You know, that's who I think is mad at the trans women. Disgruntled pick-me's. They're mad because that dick is off the market. So they bring out an anniversary cake for Angela, and because, you know, she's just, you know, it's her 8th anniversary and she's in another country, so whatever. So they get ready to leave, and someone asks Brisket if she's okay, and she says nothing got resolved. I didn't even get to finish. So when they're sitting in the Sprinter, it's Brienne, Phaedra, and I can't remember who else is in there. Is it Drew? I don't know if it's Drew. But Phaedra basically gets into Brittany's ass, and she tells her that, first of all, the rule is don't give less than $1,000. She was like, okay, I can accept that. And she said, and it seems like you want to have a problem with everybody. I wish I could find that clip. Let me see if I can go to the Bravo Shade Room and see if I can find that clip of, damn, I wish I had that clip. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. No, I can't find it. I don't want to waste time. I'm almost done anyways. So Phaedra says, it seems like you're putting yourself in the hot seat. You're always sitting on ready. All of this shit you're doing tonight is bullshit. You're joining a girl group. You seem like you're trying to collect enemies. She was like, I guess I'll be more fake. And she said, no, you need to show yourself friendly, period. But see, a pick-me is always in competition with other women. They see women as competitors, not allies. You can't be in allegiance. They claim the sisterhood, smile in every pictures with a bunch of women, but you are their competition. So it's always, I need you to be an enemy. I need to be on ready. I need to be defensive. I need to think that everything you're saying to me is shade, because I am the same way. Everything I'm saying is going to be shady. Phaedra Phaedra let her have it, and I was not mad. I was like, yes, that's it. First of all, let me tell you the rule, bitch. If you're gonna be in this friend group, first of all, you need to show up as friendly, number one. Number two, if we're giving donations, it's no less than $1,000, period. If you're gonna really be that girl, you're walking around with a Birkin and a Rolls Royce, and you can only give $250. No, you're in the wrong group. That's a wrong group. So she says, so when they're driving, she says, Shamea's husband calls her and tells her that the nanny has Shyla in a cold room and that her immune system is compromised. She says she couldn't even have her first birthday because she can't be around, her immune system is compromised. She has a weak immune system. So she says she feels like she failed as a mom. Her daughter is over there sick and she's living her best life. And then she starts crying on the phone. You hear him, saying like he doesn't really like the nanny. He's saying that he had her in a cold, the nanny had the baby in a cold room, and that he's going to take the baby to the doctor, and that he'll keep her updated on what's happening with the baby. So when they get back to the villa, they're all sitting down. They're all sitting there, and they're like kind of all quiet because Shamea is really upset, right? She's thinking about her daughter, naturally. And when you're so far away, it's like you literally can't do anything. You literally can't do anything. And so she's just really upset. And so everybody's trying to comfort her. She's crying. Portia's, comforting her. Cynthia's comforting her. Everybody's trying to comfort her. And so they're like, let's say a prayer for Shamea. So then Brit gets on her knees in front of Shamea and is like, even during this time, no matter what, I call you my friend. This is what real sisterhood is, and this and that. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is.
Like a sister, and I'll take a motherfucking shot too.
Let me tell you something. You are holding it all together, and we are holding you. Okay?
Portia only got her titties all up in here.
I thought that was not true.
It's good to laugh and keep from crying.
Doesn't it?
I love you so much, okay? And I will have your back no matter what we got going on.
Amen.
That's nothing compared to what you got going on, girl. I love you. You see, all of us, we're part of your village, no matter what. So even though you're not in Atlanta right now, you got us.
Thank you, Brett.
I am so sorry. I love you. I love you. Even during this time, I'm gonna have your back. I'm gonna always be there for you, no matter what, okay? No matter.
And then they said later, she says something about her daughter, being at home with her daughter. So they're not cool today. So all of that shit, like you could, there's no emotion there. That's fake. She saw somebody doing that. She saw somebody do that, and all she's doing is mimicking that. But there's no emotion there. There's no connection there. Even Drew was looking like, girl, is that what's happening? Okay, girl. Okay. Nobody cares, girl. And then Brit takes off her clothes. She was like, I'm going to take a shot with you. And then she takes a shot. Everybody takes a shot. And they were like, to Shamea and this and that. Then they take a shot. And then she goes behind the counter and she starts taking her clothes off. Takes her breast out. Like takes all her, like she was completely nude. Set her ass on the counter and everything. Classy. Champagne. Anyways, that was the end of that episode, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the episode. Peace.